Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to special Friday Fan Photos live stream where actually I asked everyone to submit their photos that they like and maybe tell a little story about the photo, whether it's something in the photo that's interesting to talk about or about how you took the photo. Because sometimes the story about getting the shot is more interesting than the picture itself, right? Um, I can tell you there's some good shots I think we all have that you know are just a lot more interesting when we share the story behind how the shot was taken. I mean, I can think of a couple that I've done. I if I had prepped for the stream, I could show them to you, but I did not. But basically, I got a shot of me kind of just looking down in a panic like this, right? And what had happened is I dropped the camera. My strap broke itself loose, and somehow when it hit the ground, it took a picture of me trying to grab my camera. So the shot itself is kind of funny, but when you hear the story about how it was taken, it's a lot more interesting, right? And then also, there's lots of photos that can tell a story, right? Journalistic type photography is, you know, that's all they do is try to tell the story through their photography and rules of composition and all the other things we try to do to make the image more pleasing uh, don't come into play in those kinds of photos. They're more about the story in the photo. So that's kind of where I was trying to go with this because we've all seen technically perfect images, and you see a lot of comments about uh, how sometimes when you follow the rules, you'll just create average pictures, right? If you always follow the rules, uh, and you'll never go beyond. Uh, I forget who quoted. I'm quoting somebody, but they said something to that effect, right? That you're doomed to create average photos if you only follow all these different rules of composition and stuff. So that's what I strive to do in my photography. Um, whenever I go out on photo walks, I go out with David Crook, the 495 Beltway Photo Club, and I went into a new place, something I've never taken pictures of before, like a light show, right? And I fall back on the rules of composition to try to get the images, and then I try to do things that are creative, but it was a very sort of technical approach to try to get nice images, right? A very systematic approach. And some of the images came out okay, but if I go there two times, three times, if I go back 3 or 4 years every year, or I can go back multiple times the same year, I guess, but I don't want to spend $20 per visit, right? But eventually I'll get to a point to where I'm just taking the photos uh, without regard or thought to what are some rules of composition I can apply to the scene. What story can I tell? How can I make this image more interesting rather than more pleasing? And that's kind of where I wanted to go today. Is I ask you guys to submit your images, and they don't have to be epic or anything great. Just something that, like I said, might be kind of interesting when you tell the story behind the image. And I said you could submit two images. I shouldn't have limited it. When I think back, I should have said, submit 3 or 4 images maybe, because sometimes it takes multiple images together to put that story together, right? Where a photo all by itself may not be terribly interesting, but as a series, could be a lot more interesting. And anyhow, let me check in who's here, and we'll we'll get started and look at what images you guys submitted. And also, let me put a link into the chat section. Okay, there should be a link showing now. Uh, this one here. that if I come onto your photo and you'd like to come in and join me and talk about this particular image, please do. Hopefully, I can get the technical part right, but if not, it's okay. We're here to just look at some pictures you guys took and share what you guys have been doing. So let me do a quick look at the chat section. See who's come in. Oh, Randy's here. Hey, Randy. Lauren's here, and Lasse and David Tellett. Good morning. Um, let's see. We have Melvin Thomas. Hello. I don't remember seeing you before, so maybe if you're new here, let me know. And David Crooks, good to see you. Um, Darko, yeah. My goodness, it's been a while. How you doing? Um, Taking care of your parents. Yep. And a sick pet. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I hope everyone's doing well in your family. And yeah, Ellie's out. I have her locked out of the room today, so I don't get too distracted. She can be a handful. It says here, John Free claims that he looks for three elements per street photo, at least from my memory of what he said. Today we have too many boring street shooters. Yeah, John Free has and I believe it's under that name. John Free has a YouTube channel, and he really takes amazing photographs. And like Lauren is saying, I think that's correct. He does look for three elements at a minimum. I don't think it's limited to three, but he's looking for three elements. Uh, like I distinctly remember seeing a picture of a person's torso. You know, it's like from the chest down to his pockets, and the three elements were like some keys, the belt buckle, and something else, maybe his hands. I can't remember, but it wasn't. There was no face in the picture. It was just that part of it. Maybe it's standing next to something. It's been a few weeks since I've seen the videos, so my memory just fades sometimes. Uh, but I recommend, and Lauren recommended his channel to me, but I recommend you check out John Free's channel if you're interested in street photography or just photography in general. It's fun to watch, I think. Um, and Randy says he shoots what pleases the eye, and I have grids in the view for guides. Yeah, me too. I mean, I like I said, it sometimes uh, I find myself going for the rule of thirds like 90% of the time, right? And then I look for symmetry or leading lines and all of the things that would make an image pleasing technically. But then again, you end up taking the same kind of shots uh, that everybody else is taking, right? So sometimes, like Randy, I just look at the scene and I say, I like this scene, and I take a picture of it. And then I'll stand there sometimes before I take the picture. I'll think about what do I find pleasing about this scene. Is it the reflection of maybe it's a lake and there's some reflection in the lake, or maybe it's the way the light is coming through the trees, whatever, if it's a landscape. And I try and capture that thing that's in the image that drew my eye to begin with, without regard to composition sometimes. Um, because it yeah, there's all these tools, composition tools. I guess that's a better word than calling them rules, right? There's tools in composition to help you lead the viewer's eye into what the subject is, what you want them to focus on. And usually I do that with light or leading lines, right? You assign the brightest part of the image to be the subject, hopefully. And then if you can't use the light, then you try to use a leading line to the subject. Um, or whatever other compositional rules there are, framing, stuff like that. Uh, Juxtaposition of things, right, that are different. But I don't want to analyze the photos today or critique them in that way at all. I just want to sit back and enjoy uh, the photos you guys have taken, share them with everyone, and just have a little, I guess, coffee time, so to speak, and just talk about our photos, uh, and then and maybe maybe just get some inspiration as well, right? Like this is because I skimmed a few just before I got onto the stream, and they're beautiful photos. So, but I didn't get a chance to read the stories that were in there. So let's go ahead and get to it. Let me see if I can get. Uh, Rob, do street shooting and do it all in seconds. More a challenge, quite the fun. Sure. All right. Okay. So that's all of that. And I see, oh, Randy's on the stream waiting. I see you, Randy. I'm sorry. Until I closed the chat window, I didn't see you there. But I'll bring you in just a moment. Um, let's give me a second. I need to figure out how to pull up the images. No, it's not that one. This is for the review. Oh, no, this is the right one. 13 response. Okay. So, Cam. All right, so we have one here from David Tellett. And it says here let me enlarge this. Am I not? Yeah. Here are the comments. Straight out of camera from the Fuji GS645S and Ektar 100, a small mountain in Norway. First photograph where I pre-visualized and waited for people to come in the frame. Yeah. Photography is all about having patience sometimes, right? And just waiting for that right moment. So let's see what the image is here. Ooh, wow. Look at all these footsteps and everything. And if we punch in a little bit, hopefully you can see. Is Are you guys seeing? Yeah, that's the top. Okay, so this is the whole image. I'm sorry, it's a little bit scrunched. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. Um, wow, look at this film. I just have to admire the technical quality first. I can't help myself, but I mean, it's just amazing the detail. I can see the guys wearing a hat. You can almost make out their faces in here. And, having them way back gives us some scale. But I love, like, when you look at this, you think about not only these two people, which gives scale to the frame, but all of the footsteps all around the image as well. Um, where's everybody going, right? What's this place about? So, yeah, very, very nice. Um, Two people. Lawrence says two people in search of a restroom. And yeah, minimalism. Lots of different things here. They're looking for the missing ballots. Oh my God. Feels like yesterday all that was going on here. But okay, nice image, David. Thanks for sending that in. Um, let's see what else we got here. And the second one here from, oh, this is from Randy. Okay, Randy, let's see if I can bring you in real quick. Where's that button? Okay. Oops, there we go.
Wow, there I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me
Okay.
arrange the screen real quick.
It's doing the barbershop mirror effect.
Yeah. Okay, that's me. Yeah. Let me try and share screen. There's like a fan noise in the background on yours.
Yeah, I can't help that.
Okay.
It's supposed to be using my lavalier mic, but I haven't quite figured out my laptop.
Oh, I see. Yeah. There should be an if you go into the streaming app, you have the microphone button here like this, and then you can select the microphone.
Okay.
That makes a difference.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see where. I see the mute for the microphone. Oh wait, here we go. Let's see. How's that?
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, so I haven't been able to figure that out. I've been working on that at different times, and it seems to pick the one up built into the laptop. And I tried to even somehow disable the laptop microphone, but I haven't got there.
Okay. Yeah, no big deal.
I'm kind of a newbie at all this stuff.
Let's go ahead and pull up your image here. And this image I saw just a couple months back. You talked about this in one of the streams. So go ahead and tell us about this. This is really an amazing picture, and I think how you picked this is really interesting too.
Well, what I did was I first started out with the Nikon DF, and I went out to the wind turbines, and with the DF you're able to take up to, I think it's 3 images stacked together, and it came out okay. You can actually count the blades, but I wanted to make it more like a daisy, and so I ended up taking the EM1X out to where these wind turbines are, and it was a really windy day, and I had the camera on the tripod and using the car as kind of a windshield, and I was using a remote firing control, and I fired off about 350 pictures per scene, and then I brought them back into the computer, and I was trying to stack them in Photoshop. I never learned how to do that. And then watching the narrowband channel, I think he was using the star stacks, and I ended up plugging all the pictures into that, and it actually came out pretty cool. And there's a couple that are in color, they're different looks and whatnot, but that's how that was made. And then 'cause it took about, I think about 5,000 pictures to make 8 photos. So that's how that worked. And then kind of an interesting story now. One of the turbines out there, the blade hit the tall base and it fell over. And so the Bureau of Land Management shut the place down, and they have to do an inspection on all 123 some odd turbines. And it took them um, about a month to haul that sucker away, and they had armed guards around the crash site. And just before they got the guards there, I actually got in there with my, I think I had the Olympus E5 at the time, and I took some video of the crash site, and then quickly left because I saw somebody coming at me.
Yeah. Wow. I mean,
But yeah,
go ahead, I'm
this
sorry, go
this
ahead.
shot this shot really turned out the way I had envisioned it, and it took me many months to figure out how to do this shot, because I was looking online, and I didn't see, there was one person online of all the pictures I saw that did something like this, and didn't explain how they did it, of course, but so that always stuck in the back of my little pea brain, and I wanted to pull this off.
Yeah, it was also amazing. And if you guys go to Randy's Flickr page, he has several more images of this. I guess 8, you said, right, altogether. So,
Yeah,
have
and
you?
then the interesting thing is, you can see how the sunlight shone at different parts of the blades, and then also over, because I would do it in bursts of like 10, and do that like 35 times, and the turbines are actually turning, and you can actually see some of them that have a different look from the others.
Yeah, you see that. So, how long did it take to get, say, your 300 and some shots to create this image? Like, how much time on the field?
Oh, I was out there probably 3 hours. It,
Wow.
it takes it takes an hour to get there, and I was out there for about 3 hours because I kept going to different locations and trying different scenes,
Wow.
and then of course the ride back home, and then it took me probably about 4 hours to figure out how this picture came out. So it was an all-day affair, but
Yeah.
that's what I live for. I love that stuff. So
Yeah, exactly.
and and this was with the sun was shining up off to the left, and so that would be the southwest. And what I would like to do is get a picture for a sunrise where the blades are more kind of a orangey red maybe, because the sun would be coming from the east. And of course you got to have wind, and then of course you got to have turbines that are turning. But
Right,
that's another time. So
right. I mean, so there's times you go out there and you're not turning at all?
well, right now they're completely shut down.
Oh, well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so but there are times when I go out there where there's just not enough wind, and almost all of them are not turning at all. And but there'll be one, like it's almost like they're doing a maintenance turn on it or something like that.
I see.
And then there are times where they are just really whipping, and it's really cool to stand underneath them because the blade going by sounds like a jet. And I
Really?
think on my YouTube channel I recorded the blades doing their thing at another site.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen a few others with critters and birds recently.
Yeah, and just thinking right now, I have 2 more sites that are functional, and they're usually whipping pretty good because they're at the very top of a mountain, and I can get to those via dirt road. So I'm thinking of maybe another one like that with maybe if I could get those with the far off desert as a background would be maybe a neat shot.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. That you have a theme like that that you can go back to and try over and over. Just like I was saying earlier, the first time you do something, you do your best, but then when you go back 2 or 3 times to that same location, you really start to capture, the moment or the scene that you want.
Right.
And I like that idea of going in the morning and capturing the colors hitting the birds and how that would look. It would be interesting to see if the colors like shift within each blade.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
And then you can also see on the other shots, and kind of on this one on the bottom, where the plants are being moved around quite a bit from the wind, because the wind was probably 30, 35 miles an hour. It was whipping. I couldn't even wear my signature hat.
That's right. Okay, let me see if I can pull up your other one. Did you submit another one? I think you did, right?
Yeah, there's one more.
Okay, let me see if I can find that.
And then I'm shooting on my EM1X piped into Windows 10, and I'm using the 12 millimeter Tony 2 and plugged into AC, and so this works out really cool because I finally switched over to Windows 10 now.
Right. Okay, so this is I don't know why when I look at this picture I think about the dragon with 3 heads. But go ahead and tell us your story about this one here.
Okay, so these guys, the big horned sheep, sometimes I say big-headed sheep, but that's not right. And I had been searching for these guys and gals for probably 2 years out here in the desert. And from people I talked to, they'd be like, oh, you need to go to this spot. They're out there all the time. Or go out here in springtime. They're going to be here all the time. And for 2 years, I was just striking out. I never ever saw one except for in the museum that was stuffed, and I guess that would make kind of a fake picture, So one day I was driving back home, and I was out in the deep part of the desert, and I was coming back on this little 2-lane road, and I looked off to my right, and I was like, those are awfully big coyotes. What the heck are those? And I got a little closer, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the sheep. And so I stopped the car about 20 feet beyond them. At the time, I had my EM1 Mark II and the 40 to 150 f2.8, and there was a telephone pole, and I was able to just kind of go up behind the telephone pole, even though these guys and gals they're pretty tame. I mean, I think they're kind of used to people because they didn't run, and they were eating the little nuggets off the cactus, thorns and all. And so I was able to shoot many shots of these, and also I got a video of it. And then the funny thing is, some city folk, this guy and gal came driving up, and this girl gets out of her car with a cell phone, and she's walking towards them, and there's a big male bull that's just staring her down. And she said to her boyfriend, hey, can you get me a selfie with this guy? And I said, you don't want to do that because he's going to headbutt you off into Nevada. But then I thought, you know what? That would probably make a pretty good YouTube video, But yeah, I had to warn them because that girl was walking right in there, and there's a bunch of females, and the males will charge you, and so you got to stay back, as with any wild animal.
Right.
But that was funny.
Yeah,
but then this and then this picture, I actually processed this one through Aurora HDR as a single HDR shot, and I love the way the colors came out, especially on the middle goat who's looking right at me, kind of a blue cast from the sky, and then it's kind of like I got 3 different profiles on these guys.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. Yeah, this is a great picture, and like you said, when you talk about like what was going on when you were taking the picture, you can just see that one in the center there is ready to take someone out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wish I could have maybe caught some video of, say, two dominant males hammering out for the girlfriends, banging their heads together. That would be amazing because it's supposedly sounds like dynamite going off.
Wow. I never noticed before, but their eyes have like square, rectangular irises.
Yeah, they have those goat eyeballs, and I kind of wonder what their vision is. Do they have like 16 by 9 full Panavision, or you know?
Yeah. And like you said, the colors are very strong here. Right? There's definitely, um, the cooler tones in the cherry are much cooler than I think otherwise they would be if had enough process the way you did.
Yeah, lately in a lot of my photography, I guess I'm going down the Ken Rockwell vivid extra color thing, But
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah, this is my favorite shot. I printed that and stuck it up on the wall, and it's a neat shot.
yeah, yeah, it's a great shot. Thanks for sharing that, Randy.
Yeah, and then
Um,
and like you said before, there's a whole series, for that, and then a whole series for the wind turbine. So
yeah,
anyway, thanks for having me on and taking a
yeah.
look.
Good to see you.
Oh, and then
Yeah.
yesterday I took out the D750. It was pouring down rain here, and I found this. I think it's about a 60 or 70-year old house, and there were a bunch of outlying buildings all around, very spooky, abandoned, and everything. And I'm thinking of going back with some of my ghost equipment and just see maybe if I could pick something up.
Oh yeah, yeah. We
But the
need to.
the the D750 pictures, I'll be processing those today. I'm very happy with the camera. It does so much more than the DF. It's so much easier to use and do what I want it to do because the DF is kind of like my EM1X in the way it operates, whereas the DF was, it's a specialty camera.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like for those of you that don't know, Randy and I swapped cameras. He gave me his DF. I gave him my D750. And I haven't had to go out on a photo walk yet. I do have one picture on my Flickr page that I took with this vintage 200 millimeter f4. But yeah,
Yeah,
this is.
I'm using the because I don't have any really good Nikon glass, and
Mhm.
I'm not going to buy any because my main shooter is my Olympus stuff. But I do have a lot of the old AFD lenses.
Mhm.
So yesterday I was using a 20 to 35. I
Yeah.
think it was a f2.8, and then I also took out my Nikon f4 because I'm trying to finish that roll, and that had a 35 to 70 AFD on it. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was a good day yesterday. So
Good. Good. All right. Well, we'll talk about it more maybe in another stream about these
okay,
our experience. As soon as I get a chance to get out with it more, because I do have a lot to say about this camera, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. But thanks for
good.
coming in and sharing those images, Randy.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay. Let me let me catch up again on the stream. Yeah, sorry about the background noise. Hopefully you can hear me now. It's probably hard to hear me over Randy's background noise. Hopefully he gets that worked out. Yeah, it's picking up the fan noise, I believe, from the laptop, right? Because my laptop's kind of roaring right now, but I use this boom mic to sort of minimize that to some extent. But yeah, the wind noise is kind of appropriate for the images he sent in, right? The with the wind turbines. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's see if I can bring this in. Where's the share screen? Or I can do it this way. Uh, okay, that was Randy's. Let's go to the next one here. This is from Marcel. Okay, Marcel's pretty regular with the photo editing streams and the other live streams. And I'll leave this up for you guys to read, but I'll just read it out loud. Hi, Rob. These four photos were important to me for the start of my career as a photographer. I followed an evening photography course, and these are the few works of my thesis. The photo top left, the FM2, which I won a prize, the Minolta 7XI with a 28 to 70, and a publication in a music magazine. The top right photo was chosen as best street photography. I took this photo with my Nikon FM2 in a metro in Paris. It is very important that a story was told in a photo, movement, poverty, the Livre in background luxury. The sports photo is the story of the Belgian ice skater who falls badly during a world champ. I'm sorry, Ellie is losing it. Um, he was our only candidate. All right, I'll let you guys read this. Let me get Ellie. God, she's amazing. The UPS driver is across the street, and somehow she could hear him. Okay. So we have a Belgian ice skater who falls badly during a world championship. He was our only candidate for medal at the World Cup. You can believe me or not, but I had the premonition that he would go down there. I think you have that as a photographer. When I go to sports competitions, I usually have right feeling when something happens, the moment. At a photo exposition, I was approached by an editor in chief of a newspaper and he offered me a job as a press photographer. Wow. Since the late 80s to 2000, I have worked as a sports photographer for a newspaper, but it's always been my second weekend job. My first profession has always been busier at the largest newspaper in Belgium. Since 2014, I've started photography again, and I have had the luxury of meeting someone who works for Nikon Europe and who's constantly sending me Nikon material to test. At a photo exhibition, I was approached by an editor of a newspaper and he offered me a job as a press photographer. Since the late 80s to 2000, I've worked as a sports photographer for a newspaper, but it's always been my second job. Oh, looks like there's a little cut and paste error here. Uh, since 2014, I've started photography again. Okay, sorry, Marcel. Looks like it got cut and paste like 3 times on the same page. That's why it's so long. But all right, great. Let's take a look at the image there. Ooh, okay. See if I can zoom in a little bit. Wow. Good old film days. Nothing renders like film anymore, you know? These are awesome. You know, Marcel, for some reason, I always thought you were like a young man for whatever reason. I don't know why. I thought like you were in your 20s or something. Uh, but you've been doing this forever, almost since I was born. I like the I like the motion of this one person walking by, the little blur, and then these three people just perfectly still sitting here. They all have the same bags. So this must be, you probably mentioned it in the text there. But wow, these are great. And then looks like a singer over here. Man, these are awesome. Really captures, that moment in time, right? Wow, that guy looks pretty upset. Let's see if I can get this. He's like looking right at you too. That's great. Those are awesome. Awesome, awesome photos. Man. All right. Let me Yeah, these are great. I don't Oh, Marcel is here. You're 58 years old. Wow. Okay, so you're just a couple of years older than me. I'll be 56 next year. I think I'm 55 now, I think. You kind of stop counting after 50, I think. All right. Let's take a look at the next one. But yeah, what I liked, what I was saying before is what I should have done is ask you guys to send in a collage like this. Maybe I'll do that for the next one. Send in a collage and um, tell a story kind of like this. This is kind of interesting. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one here was from, oh, Rob Shoot Photos. I think I saw you in here earlier. Um, we've been chatting on Instagram. I think you said you just bought a Sigma 30 F 1.4 or something, but shot was shot when I was kayaking. Two turtles meet up. A side story to this was while I was capturing the images of these two turtles, I heard a splash about 15 feet away and realized it was an osprey catching a fish. I was so focused on the turtles that I missed probably an amazing shot. So there's some irony for you, right? Is you're so focused on this one thing and then you miss the other thing, right? And yeah, I'm sure that's happened to all of us, right? Where we're so focused on what's right in front of us, we're not looking around or really paying attention to everything else that's going on. Um, and then sometimes just unexpected things come up and you miss it, you know. But I get it because I was looking at this picture. I'm like, it's a nice picture of a couple turtles, but what's the story here? And the story is what's not in the picture, right? That's great. Nice another collage here. I mean, you did an awesome job on the turtles. Look at that detail and just how they're this is the kind of photo that needs a meme, right? I'm sure Lauren would come up with a good meme for this. All right, awesome, awesome. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. Okay, let's see what else is here. This is from Speak of the Devil from Lauren. Says here after decades of taking mostly photos without people, and then I finally decided I was somewhat bored of doing that. People are interesting, and I gave some consideration to street photography. I believe I am now hooked on that. In the first photo presented here, a lady had set up a chair amongst the seaweed on the shoreline. She was all alone and turned my direction and smiled at the sun. She was alone and happy. I like the vast area about her. Okay, let's see what that is. Lauren says there was a band group called the Turtles. Yeah, they sang "Happy Together," right? One of my favorite songs ever. I wish I could play it here on YouTube, but I'll get banned. Anyway, oh, I see this lady. Look at her, just sitting there all by herself. Huh, that's great. Because I think I've seen this mountain a few times from you in some other photo editing streams. But let me punch in a little bit. She is smiling. Look at her. So this would make a really nice large print, right? And just put up somewhere. Hang on the wall award. Wow. Just reading some of the comments, but yeah, that's a great moment. And it's interesting how you kept everything in the frame. Because for me, I would have probably tried to zoom in on her if she was smiling at the moment, but I might have missed it because I'm trying to capture the scene. But you happen to get both. Her looking into the sun and smiling and getting the entire scene. So really nice. Um, okay, let's see. I think you said you have another one in here. Says here, after taking a photo of the lady on the shoreline, I came upon a man and two girls doing a photo shoot. The tall redhead girl had cowboy boots on and was simply interesting in every way. She evidently was cold and went back to the car to get a jacket. Looking down the path, I was able to snap the tall girl just as the dress was swept towards the trees, which leaned the wind. The photo has depth and a little color, other than red hair and those boots. Love that. If you want to see more pics, I'm on. Oh yeah, and there's his link for his site. Um, his smug mug. Let me just put that in the chat real quick for everyone. Okay, let's take a look. And Lauren sends me links to the his smug mug time to time of specific albums, which are really awesome. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, the young lady here. It is kind of odd, right? Like if you didn't know that she was coming from a photo shoot, it would seem kind of odd to have cowboy boots on a walking trail. I don't know. What do I know? Maybe that's perfectly normal. But yeah, I like the little spot of red right here on the image. So this was just a few minutes later. Wow, this is in the same location. That's interesting. Because the from the one side, the lake or whatever that is, the bay, doesn't look like it would have this right behind it. But it is interesting how everything's tilted to the right, including her, right? Because of the wind. Even though I'm sure the horizon's level, but what do I know? That's why I don't like hills and bendy things, I'm like, this needs to be straight. Um, yeah, yeah, I see how the wind is blowing the dress, but then all the trees are pretty much in that direction too. It's at the bay. Okay. Yeah, that's a great photo. I'll just punch in so we can see a little more of the details here. Isn't this how like some of those YouTubers do it? They zoom in on a photo, then they just kind of pan down like this in their videos, so you can see all the details. That's great. Okay, let's go to the next one. Thanks, Lauren. And there's a golf course to the right. Okay. And this is from Peter Breaks. Says these two photos were taken 2 days ago on the small Thai island of Koh Samui, Samu, I guess, reliant on tourists for its economy. They were taken at the entrance to a popular elephant ride facility and a spectacular waterfall. They show the desperate and dilapidated state the park is in, having had no visitors for the past 18 months. Wow. Okay. Sign of the times, right? Oh, look at this. Um, Somebody broke off the head of this giraffe, baby giraffe. This looks, I think this was a seat for kids or something, and just put it in there. Wow, that's sad. But it's really interesting at the same time. Makes me cry a little bit inside when I see things in disrepair and when this was put there, it was like I said, it's obviously it looks like a seat for little kids to sit on. It was put there for just very happy times with families and things, and now it's just a headless giraffe in a tire. Ugh. Okay, let's see what else we got, Peter. You might have one more. Uh, yeah, second photo. Wow, look at that. So this is definitely kind of a kids area. Everything is just it would be interesting if you had images from like a before and after kind of shoot. But yeah, 18 months of no tourists, and it just I guess there's no staff watching the stuff or maintaining anything, and they just let it go. I mean, this could be might be due to weather, right? Just if you're not maintaining a property, nature will take its course and this will happen. But the giraffe image before, that was definitely, somebody destroyed that chair. Okay. Let me just make sure I'm still online. Okay. Uh, I keep hitting the wrong button. No, no. Dang it. Where this one? This one. Okay. Um, well, thanks for sharing that, Peter. That was those are really interesting, those photos. Um, because without the story about what that place was or is, you'd be like, why would you take a picture of that? But now I get it. Sometimes photos are about just documenting things that what they used to be, but this is what it is now. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not very articulate like that other guy that's really good at explaining, talking. I forget his name, Photographic Eye, whatever that channel is. That guy's very, very articulate when it comes to talking about photography. Okay, this is from Steve Dotson. And it says both of these were cropped from photos I took with my EPL-10 earlier this year. I was let me just check something. Yeah, you guys can see that. All right. I was at the Driftwood Beach at Botany Bay Plantation and at Disto Island in South Carolina. Before the edits, the birds were clearly pelicans. With the edits and with the natural driftwood beach and tropical foliage, they are reminiscent of, oh, sources flying through their native Mesoic environment. I can't recall the exact steps I took in editing these, but I may have used DxO film pack filter with film grain. I remember tweaking the contrast, detail, etc. Okay, let's see what you did. Oh, I see. Where's yeah, I get that. Um wow, I really do like the processing you did here. The tones and everything are really outstanding. Let me crop in just a little bit. Now, see, you must know something about like the Jurassic period or whatever they call that area when dinosaurs and things were around. Um, because I would not have guessed that particular bird, the Tosaurus or whatever you called it. But yeah, this could easily be a picture from that time era, right? Because there's nothing in here that's modern or any indication of man, right? In this mankind, I should say. Yeah, interesting. Okay, that's yeah, but I do really like the processing you did there. Botany Bay, another one. Oh yeah, see, wow, they do look a little bit prehistoric here, with the sharp angles and stuff in the wingspan. Look at that. This one is a little bit more definitive in that sense, where it looks more prehistoric. That's wow, that's really cool. I like it. Hmm. This is definitely one I would print and put in my album or put somewhere. Maybe the bathroom. Bathroom be good, right? I don't know. Um, nice. I like it. That's a great shot. Thanks for sending that in. Let's see. This one says from Phil W. It says, "Hi Rob, this is one of my favorite pictures that I took with my drone. There was a storm that was just sitting to our summer lake house, and I thought, what the heck? I should take my drone up and try and get some shots since it wasn't too dark. I tried to use the settings from your past video for tips on getting fireworks by setting the shutter speed to 1 second, increase the ISO, and decrease the exposure a bit. I set on time lapse and saved the picture, and this was the best one I got. I got a couple more shots that I tried to combine all together, but I couldn't figure out how to combine images. But I like this one the best. I just turned the exposure down a bit and got this. Fortunately, my drone didn't get struck by lightning either, although it came a lot closer than I was. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Man, that's a heck of a storm. And just that single bolt of lightning. Man. Sorry, let me. Yeah, really nice. Really nice shot. And what's nice is, I guess, wow, you must, I assume one of these are yours. I wonder if we can see you down there. Look at these houses. They're so nice. This big, beautiful red house here on the right. I like, man, these are all really nice houses. Each one individually is so different, but they're all really interesting. I think I've seen this picture. I've seen this house before. I think in another photo editing live stream. Um, this house looks really familiar. This scene. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I have seen this scene before, but not from high above, but you were ground level and you took a shot here somewhere and I did an editing on it. Wow, I love it. I love it. Okay. Let's see what else we got. I think you got one more in here. See, this is from Steve Page. Taken December 4th, Edinburgh gig, low light vintage lens. Okay. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Look how low the ceiling is. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful editing and toning. I really like the editing on this. And the shot itself is just right. Like there's a little bit of motion blur here and then tack sharp here. But never mind the technical stuff. I really like the mood and the toning and textures and everything that this image is giving off. Um, Beautiful shot. Oh, Rob, I don't think this is, this to me looks like probably you can't have too much of a telephoto, but this looks like a 45 millimeter f1.8 to me. Um, but that ceiling is low. It's not compression. It's just a low ceiling. I wonder if there's any info here. No, it just says Olympus. But yeah, great great shot. I think black and white. Uh, yeah, I really like the mood and everything that this shot is giving off. Good job. Good job. All right. Yep. These are all really amazing shots. Okay. Let me go back to. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, that's a great shot, right, Lauren? And oh, it was a tunnel in Edinburgh, a 50 millimeter f1.8. I was close. I was close. Um, I guess the 45 1.8, but I guess you're using the vintage Olympus 51.8. And that's the other thing is, after a while, you get a sense of what lens was being used, right? The focal length and the aperture and all of that. You start to get a sense. Uh, and in a sense, meaning and you start, when you go out on a photo walk, you start looking at things. You always seem to look at things through your camera's lens, right? Like if you brought a 45 millimeter with you, you were looking around at things at 45 millimeters, right? I don't know. I think you guys know what I mean. It's like you don't look at the world like just average people, right? Or everyday people without a camera. You look at things always through a frame. When I'm walking around, I'm always framing things when I go out and on photo walks and things. And then I think about what lens would frame this particular scene the way I want. But anyway, I'll talk about that stuff in a photo walk one day. Maybe today if I can get out of here. But John Yutze says, "Great idea. Let's do it again." Okay, sure. Why not? We'll have Friday fan photo day. Uh, I don't know if I can do them every Friday because there's I do some tutoring sometimes on Fridays, but at least once a month I think I can squeeze one in. Maybe it'll be a Saturday photo fan day. I don't know. But either way, I really liked seeing the images. I love the stories that were told with them. It makes you, really appreciate just having fun with photography sometimes, or what makes photography fun, instead of always looking at things so seriously, right? And taking things so seriously. Sometimes you just want to go out and just enjoy it, which I try to do every day if I can. But yeah, John knows what I'm talking about, right? Um, but okay, let's go ahead and end it here. Thanks again for everybody sending in your images. I really appreciate that. We'll do this again when I can. I have to look at my schedule after the holidays. But if I can do one more before the end of the month, maybe we can do our holiday photos or something. So just before New Year's. But I'll look at the calendar and see. So you guys have a great weekend, and I should be back on Tuesday for a regular live stream. So thanks again for sending your photos in today, and I look forward to seeing everyone again next week.